Ooh, the gym. My old stomping grounds. Hank Patterson, fly fishing guide.
Riley Smith, tight end.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Hey, you wouldn't happen to be the kicker?
No, tight end.
Again, thank you. I'm looking for a kicker for Lithia Ford's fall kickoff sale. But you're not the kicker.
No.
Yeah. Nah, the kicker's probably taller and in a lot better shape. So, okay. What position do you play?
Tight end.
Squats. Yeah. Try it sometime.
I may be retired, but I still have finances to manage. With direct deposit and automatic payments, ICCU makes it easy to spend less time banking and more time baking.
RowPaint.com, the official paint and coatings company of Boise State Athletics, is going all in this season with an all-star lineup. First up, he led the Broncos to 3 conference championships and 10 20-win seasons. It's Coach Leon Rice. Next, he's the founder and CEO of RowPaint.com. He played a little basketball in high school on the driveway with his mom. It's Andy Rowe.
Oh, no. Want to just paint my house?
Now that I can do. When I want Boise State to win, I trust Coach Rice to lead the Broncos to victory.
And when I want the best painting and garage floor coating, I trust RowPaint.com to get that job done right.
This is Bronco Nation News Live. The best interviews, the most informed opinions, the latest breaking news, all from the top Boise State insiders. Today's broadcast is coming from the Cutwater Spirits Canned Cocktail Studios. Check out one of their more than 30 flavors of pre-mixed premium cocktails at your local gas station or grocery store. Cutwater Canned Cocktails is perfect for your next game day tailgate party. Now, here's four-time NSMA Idaho Sports Writer of the Year, BJ Rains, with another edition of Bronco Nation News Live.
Hey, how we doing, Boise State fans? Welcome on in another edition of Bronco Nation News Live here at BroncoNationNews.com. Very special guest going to join us here in just a matter of minutes. Bryan Harsin, the former Boise State coach, former Auburn coach. Apparently, Jay upset some folks at Arkansas State. I didn't include them in the graphic. Also coached the year at Arkansas State. But it's Friday. Jay Tust is here, and excited for today. It's going to be fun, Jay.
Yeah, it should be fun. Good to hear from Hars, and what a way to kick off the weekend, man. It's a busy day. I know that you guys stick to Bronco football and Bronco sports for that matter, but state soccer, the final week of the high school football season is tonight. So I know it's a bye week for the Broncos, but it is awfully busy when it comes to the local prep scene this weekend.
And we should throw it out there. Bryan Harsin did ask or did say, hey, let's talk about Eagle High. Let's talk some high school football. So we're not going to come on here and have the first question be, do you want to come back and coach Boise State? So we are going to, just to set it up for folks, his son is doing some big things, going to Idaho State. We want to catch up with him, just how's life, what it's like being a dad, watching his kid play, and talk about that big game tonight. And then we will get into some of the Boise State topics, and obviously Talon Green, a quarterback that he recruited and signed. He's obviously living in town, knows the current state of the program. We will get to that, but we are going to talk about his family and kind of what he's doing right now, because I think he's enjoying being a dad right now, Jay.
Yeah, he's getting a chance to do that, and I can't imagine how much he's enjoying it. We'll ask him about it, because the fall, when you're a head coach, when you're an assistant coach, when you're anything that he has been since he's been about 23 years old, they take away from your family. It's a lot of time, a lot of dedication. And this year, I've seen him up in the stands quite a few times at the Eagle High football games and cheering for his boy Davis Harsin on the field. And Davis in the the Eagle Mustangs are a perfect 8-0 on the season, ranked number 1 in the state, the only remaining undefeated team in the state, but they have a challenge tonight going over to the Thunder Stadium and the Meridian Warriors.
Let's go ahead and get our first commercial break out of the way. Coach Harsin should be joining us in about 2 minutes, so we'll take a 90-second break, and Bryan Harsin joining us. Don't go anywhere here on Bronco Nation News. All Bronco Nation News broadcasts come from the Cutwater Spirits Canned Cocktail Studios. Check out one of their more than 30 flavors of pre-mixed premium cocktails at your local gas station or grocery store. Cutwater Spirits, perfect for your next game day tailgate party. Our title sponsor is rowpaint.com. For all your commercial, industrial, residential painting needs, check out rowpaint.com. Don't forget about their concrete coatings. Transform that ugly concrete slab on your back patio in your garage in just one day. Contact rowpaint.com for a free estimate today. The official paint and coatings company of Boise State Athletics, and our title sponsor at Bronco Nation News is rowpaint.com. Idaho Central Credit Union's been helping members achieve financial success for more than 80 years. There's an ICCU branch on almost every corner, but the closest is in your pocket with free eBranch mobile and online banking. See why more than 500,000 members love ICCU, and join 1 in 4 Idahoans by making the switch today at ICCU.com. Since 1984, Ridley's Family Markets has prided itself on being a hometown food and drug store that employed value members of the local community. Ridley's Family Markets has 13 locations in the state of Idaho and many more in the surrounding states. Download the new Ridley's app to your smartphone, get savings up to 40% off at the checkout line, and find a location near you at shopridleys.com. Former Bronco Matt Bauscher is once again the number 1 ranked realtor in the Treasure Valley. No home is too big or too small for Matt and his team. Let them fulfill all your real estate needs at BauscherRealEstate.com. All right, Jay, we should be having Bryan Harsin join us any minute here. We got great viewership. Appreciate everybody for checking us out. What do you make, Jay, of Bryan's time at Boise State and then going on to Auburn, and obviously did a lot of good things at Boise State? And I think some fans are realizing maybe he did a little better than some realized.
Well, it's tough to follow guys like Chris Peterson, man, because it is really difficult to replicate that type of success. But now you look at, Bryan's tenure at Boise State, he went 69-19. Right now, Andy Avalo sits at 20-30, I believe. And so he would have to get on one heck of
20
a
and
hot
13.
streak.
It's not that bad, Jay. 20 and 13.
What did I say?
20 and 30.
Oh, sorry. 20 and 13. Sorry about that. That was, I misspoke there. But he'd have to get on one heck of a hot streak to even catch what Harsin did during his time at Boise State. Brian brought a Fiesta Bowl championship trophy, not only as an offensive coordinator, but as a head coach to Boise. And it's wild, BJ. Next year it'll be a decade since that game happened in 2014 with Jay Ajayi hitting a 56-yard run on the first touch he had after announcing he was going to the NFL draft with, money season scripted across his eye black. That was a really talented team that responded to adversity. They did not get off to the best start that year. They were 2-2 after the Air Force game, and then they never lost again, BJ.
Yeah, no, it was exciting times, and we're excited to welcome on our special guest, Jay. We appreciate Bryan Harsin for joining us. We're going to bring him. There he is. Coach Harsin, how we doing, sir? Oh, we can't hear you. Uh-oh. No, now you muted yourself. Try it again here. Let's see.
How about that?
There we go.
Yeah.
There we go.
The key is to hit unmute.
There you go.
That's it. Well, good morning. How are you guys?
We're doing good. We appreciate you coming on. I didn't think you liked me, Coach, so I'm just glad Jay Tuss was here so you do the interview. But
well, that's exactly why I'm on here.
Well, at least we cleared that up right out of the way. So.
Yeah, let's just be honest about it, right?
Oh, come on now, Coach. Go ahead, Jay.
You sporting your you got your Mustang gear on tonight there, Coach?
There you go. Mustang football, man.
Big game tonight. Davis Harsin leading the undefeated Eagle Mustangs into the 5A SIC championship game this evening. I just want to start there. How much fun have you had this fall, Brian, being able to watch your boy in his final year of high school football? Because any other year you wouldn't have been able to consume it like this.
No, you're right. No question. It's been awesome. The transition from Auburn High School, where Davis was, and he had a great experience there. They played in the state championship last year, and the coaches there were phenomenal, did a great job developing him. But everything now moving forward, just with Coach Clough, Eagle, a lot of those guys that he played with in Optimus football are at the school. And so it's just been a great experience for everybody, and they're having success. He's enjoying what he's doing, being around that program and with his teammates. So, yeah, like you said, tonight's a big game. They're playing Meridian. They played them in the season opener. Meridian's a really good football team. And, it's district championship before they get into the playoffs. So we're going to enjoy that. But what's the fun part is we got great parents and great support for the program. But the pregame, the tailgating, which is very mild, just having some fun, some food, snacks, talking about, the boys and the season so far has just been enjoyable. So we're going to have another good one tonight and just enjoy it, cheer these guys on, and hopefully they can get it done.
There's a lot of chat and trash talking, Coach, in the chat here. Jordan says Warriors aren't losing twice to Eagle this year. Sorry, Hars.
Hey, look, here's the reality. So I looked this up in college football a while back, but I think since 1942, there's been 73 rematches, and the team that won the first game, 52% of the time won the second game. So you go into a game, it's 50-50. It really doesn't matter. It just matters how the guys are prepared throughout the week, both teams, and what happens for the next 3 hours tonight when they go out there and play. So, but I watched the Warriors in the first game. I've seen a little bit of them through the season. They're very good. They're tough. Played well, had a big win against Rocky in a comeback there. So these guys got their hands full, and we'll see what happens. I'm sure there's going to be trash talking, but I'm all for Eagle and those guys getting it done. And have been super proud of just what they've been able to accomplish so far. And the way they've done it, the way Coach Clough has done it and his staff has just been impressive. So we'll be in there yelling our lungs out tonight and cheering these guys on.
This is an awesome matchup. And in my opinion, even if you go back to the beginning of the season, I thought the season opener was something we might see for the state championship this year. Meridian can roll. They can run the rock. Riley Byington, Marco Del Rio, Cole Jones. Obviously, you have Zeke Martinez running the show over there. But, Eagles got some D1 talent too. Not only is your boy going to Idaho State, but I recently saw their tight end, Seth Brock, committed to Montana State. So as high school football kind of evolves, the level of dedication in terms of training and resources that have really, taken off in my 10 years here, Bryan. How cool is it to see the big stage, though, set up for a 5A SIC championship game? I mean, this is only a couple years old, but I love how it just like really features the best of the best, one last time before the state tournament starts.
Yeah, no, I love it. I think the setup's great. And to your point, too, what I've seen as far as Idaho football this year and watching a lot of these guys play, I mean, it's getting better. And there's also a lot of young talent that I see in a lot of programs, a lot of sophomores and juniors playing some key positions that are really playing at a high level. So Eagles got some guys now that are having a chance to move on, and they'll on this team that have a chance to go on and play. But overall, the level of football has gotten better. And you go back every year, there's always been some elite players that come out of the state of Idaho. I think the Colston Loveland, Gatlin Bear, right now, and previous players, ones that played at Boise State and guys that went on and played at other programs. But I think it's just getting better and better. And as the Valley grows, I think you're going to see more players continue to come out of the state of Idaho and go on and play Division I football or college football wherever, because it is improving. And speaking of Idaho State, for Davis to have a chance to go play for Cody Hawkins, and we went there for an unofficial visit back in the spring, and I sat in the team room with a lot of other parents and players and listened to Cody just address the entire room, and I was impressed with just how he comes across as a leader, his message, his conviction, his energy. I mean, this is the future of college football. And I sat back there watching, like, that guy right there. All right. He's a head coach right now. He's young, but he's got a good pedigree, right? He's got a good background with his dad, and he sounds a lot like that, but he's got an edge to him. And my wife and I, Cass, we were just extremely impressed with the vision he had for the program. They offered Davis, and, Davis, I think, wants to go down that same path, wants to coach, wants to do those things down the road. And I said, there's not a better guy to be around than Coach Hawkins. He's been in your shoes. Look where he's at right now. And what an awesome experience you could have at Idaho State. And they won the last game. I think they won the last two games. And I had the big comeback against Eastern Washington.
Wild.
And you just see, like, they're getting better. And I heard Cody the other day on the radio talking about, kind of how that whole game transpired and the things that happened, but also just where the program's at and where he wants to take it. They know they're not where they need to be right now or want to be, but they have a vision for where they're going. And he's the right man for the job. No question about it. We're excited that Davis has a chance to go play for him and be a part of that program. I know it's going to keep getting better. And I think more guys in the Valley are going to have a chance to go to places like that. Hopefully it's Idaho State, so those guys will continue to improve and get better. But what an awesome opportunity. And then Seth Brock at Montana State. I mean, Montana State right now is really the program, all right, in that division. So having a chance to go play for them and be a part of it, I think is impressive for the resume he's put together. And a lot of those guys on that team, man, like I said, I've been around their families, been around them. They've been over to the house. They've been a part of our family, and we're pulling for them tonight, and just really, really impressed with what they've been able to accomplish so far.
Bryan Harsin, our guest here on Bronco Nation News, Jay Tust and BJ Rains. And Coach, I mean, just to be able to watch your son's games and go on recruiting trips and do this kind of stuff. You had him around at practice and stuff, but obviously the hours that a coach puts in. I mean, to have this last year with your family and be able to go be a parent and yell at the refs from the stands instead of the sidelines, and tailgate and do all that fun stuff. Right. I mean, just a lot of the comments are saying you seem more refreshed, and that you seem like you're in a good place right now on the comments and stuff. What's this been like for you the last year, getting a chance to take the break from coaching and be a dad?
Really quick, Hars, I can vouch. You are actually pretty calm in the stands. I can vouch for that. I don't know how you do it. You're actually pretty calm up there.
Well, I mean, I'm sitting so far up. I wish I could get down a little closer to some of the officials at times and all that. But, look, a different perspective. It's a different perspective. And I do appreciate really everybody, officials included, on the field, giving those boys a chance to go out there and play. I mean, before I got on this call, Matt Wells, who used to be at Utah State and Texas Tech, had just reached out to me, and he's at Oklahoma right now. And we were just talking. He's got a chance to see his boy Wyatt play the last 6 games. And we were just having that conversation before I got on this with you guys. And it's a great opportunity for myself and my family to be a part of what Davis is doing, but also just to enjoy it and to be around and to have a chance to be a part of it, because we all know the schedules as coaches. It's just not conducive for that. And it's hard to, be in those, have those opportunities to go be a part of that. And you know what? I've enjoyed it. Like I said before, and it's been a blessing. And, right now, I mean, that's been a big focus for us. And also, to be around my girls too. I've got an older daughter. She's an esthetician. She is the very best. And she is making her way. She is figuring it out. She is a go-getter, hard worker. That's Devin. Dane is at Boise State. She's a junior, needs to graduate and, move on and get out in the real world soon. But she's doing great in school. And Kess and I, we've been together for a long time, since we were 14 to 15 years old. So, it's been nice to have a chance to be around here and help out. And I'll tell you what, like what I didn't know, and she reminds me too, like of the distractions I had with football and all the other things, is just every single day what actually happens and goes on. And it's not the most exciting stuff, but man, what needs to get done around here, I've been able to help and be a part of it. And my appreciation for her and what she's done for our family and how to help raise our 3 children the way that she has. You know what? I mean, I try to let her know I appreciate her more and more every single day. And so all those things have been great. It is refreshing in some ways. At the same time, I'm really proud of what the coaches that I've had a chance to coach with are doing, to watch teams that I've been a part of, and to see some of these players out there, having success that we've recruited and had a chance to coach. And even guys that are no longer playing, to be around them, to go out to lunch, to have some time with them has been really refreshing.
Well, let's talk about that a little bit here, Coach. Obviously, you're living in town, paying attention, close to the program, your alma mater. I think when Andy Avalos was hired, a lot of people thought, hey, this is the perfect fit. It's perfect, going to keep rolling. And for whatever reason, it's just been a little bit of a struggle for your alma mater here. 20-13, 3-4 on the season, as you know. What are your thoughts on kind of the state of the Boise State football program right now? Sure, yeah. Well, number one, I know they have really good coaches there. And I know those guys care, and I know those players care. And that's, let's take a little dive inside what it's like to be in those walls every single day. I guarantee you those players and coaches, when they're not having the type of success they want, they care more than anybody. They care more than anybody that they want to fix this and get it right. And I know that staff, I know Coach Avalos, I know those players are feeling that way. And I believe they will. And so, are we where we want to be? No. And I think that's been addressed by everybody. And I think every coach and player would say that. But now, what do we have to do moving forward? I think that's what you have to do as a coach. You have to address the realities of where you are, and then you have to focus on the details, the little things that are going to get you where you want to be, which is winning football games, having success on the field. And those guys, I know they're focused on that. And now, it has to show on game day. And for everybody in that program, they all have to be committed to that to get that done. So I'm excited to see where they go. To me, there's tough times, right? And I always think that tough times don't last, tough people do. And we're going to find out how tough we really are as we get into this next stretch and start playing some of these really good teams in the Mountain West. And then find out, what we're made of. And I think that's a great challenge. And for me, and I think everybody too, look, are we satisfied where we are right now? No, we're not. But let's pull for our guys and let's see if that toughness, let's see if that fight
Let's see if all those things that we have talked about are being worked on. Let's see if the things that those guys are getting done in practice are showing up in games. And let's be there in the seats cheering these guys on and give them our full support and let these guys go out there and play in this next game and see what happens. I, for one, am pulling for them. I know it's a challenge. At the same time, I know that those guys will fight, work hard, and do everything they can to put a great product on the field. And those players are going to give you everything they got. And I really do believe that.
I know that at times when, a program is struggling, especially one for Boise State that is one of the winningest programs in college football history, they sit at 3-4. Bryan, sometimes when you sit back and you watch a game, it's not like it's 20 plays that is preventing them from being 5-2 or flipping this record. How frustrating is it though when maybe it is just a couple plays? Like if they play, in all honesty, one play better, the Hail Mary at the end of that thing, if they execute that better, the tone and everything of this town is a lot different as we sit here today. So when you kind of step back and you say, man, it's just a few plays, how do you find that gap? What is it, Sunday through Friday, so It shows up on Saturday?
Sure, yeah. Welcome to football, man. I mean, that's really what it comes down to. It's people will say it's 3 to 5 plays in the game when you're playing in a close game and you're playing good football teams. And certainly, I've experienced that at Boise, at Arkansas State, at Texas, at Auburn. But you're right. It comes down to, these 2, 3, 4 plays in the game can change everything. And that's really the challenge. So that's the challenge as a player and a coach. And this is why, when you get into a little bit of a slump or you get into a losing streak, there's some things that you have got to discipline yourself to make sure you get done every day. Number one is focus on the task at hand. You have to. Okay. Don't panic. Don't panic. People say trust the process, but really what that means is you have to pay attention to the details that are being explained to you or that need to get done. All right. And you need to do it each and every day, coaches and players. And why you have to just be so fanatical just about getting those things done is because you don't know what moment in the game those plays are going to happen. And you don't know if it's going to come your way. You don't know if it's going to be someone else. And so that's the challenge, I think, for a football team is every single day when you're together for those 4 hours of meetings and practice time and all that, everybody has to be locked in, focused on the task at hand. And really, your job as coaches is to not miss anything and to cover it. And I know as a player, it's like, we're covering this again. Well, it hasn't happened to us, but at some point it's going to. And you can't become bored with the details. You can't become bored with the day-to-day. And I think the greatest coaches and players that I've been around and that I've seen and that you watch on other teams, they just don't. They don't become bored with the little things that you have to do every single day, because at some point they're going to show up. And when they do, I think the reps, the practice, the focus sets you up to be ready for those moments. So that's the challenge. And what I would say right now is don't panic. Don't be distracted with all of the other things that you can't control. Focus on the task at hand, focus on the things that you can control, and do it to the best of your ability each and every day. And then, you know what, when you step out there on Saturday, you should be so confident that you put in the work necessary to go there and play for 3.5 hours to your very best capabilities. And then cut it loose. No fear, cut it loose, go out there and play to win each and every time. And, I say that, and look, I've been a part of games where that's been the message and it hasn't happened. And that's where you have to go back and you've got to just recreate the message in a better way. Or maybe you missed something and you've got to go back and you've got to self-scout, you've got to self-evaluate, and you have to bring that again in a better way the next week. So I believe they'll do that. And I believe that we'll see in this next game, those things show up. It's not going to be perfect. We're not going to have a perfect game. There's never going to be a perfect game, but those things are going to show up. And I believe those coaches and players will get it done.
Talon Green, coach, you recruited him. You got him to come to Boise State. A lot of talking amongst Boise State fans right now about this 2-quarterback system and where Talon Green's at in his development and as Boise State's quarterback here. I know you're not watching practice, you're not watching every play of every game, but just what are your thoughts on Talon Green and where he is or isn't at this year and the 2 QB system? You guys ran it obviously with Rip and Cozart there a couple years ago. There's been a lot of talk about whether or not that's actually working. Should they just pick a guy and go with them? Your thoughts on the 2 QB system and Talon Green, a guy that you originally brought to Boise State?
Yeah, that's you know what. First of all, with Talon, I mean he's a great athlete. And I think the one thing for him, and this last year that showed up, I think there's signs of it this year, and I think he can keep getting better. There's no doubt about it. And so, we felt that way when we recruited him. Plus, we loved him just as a person. I think, his energy, his enthusiasm, I think just his vibe in general is what you want to have in a football program. No question about it, especially at that position and being a leader of the team. The 2-quarterback system. So you go all the way back to Kellen, and we had Kellen Moore playing, and Mike Coughlin would come in and do some quarterback run game. He was the changeup. And then we had Rippin and Tommy Stewart a little bit, and then we got Montel Cozart, and Montel became that changeup and ended up playing in some games because Brett was injured. And then we had Talon. When Hank was there, we were going to bring him in and kind of have that system in place. And I think when you have a change up, you have your guy, and that's the one thing. Kellen was the guy. Brett was the guy. You have your guy, and then you kind of have a change up. I think those things work. And I've done both now, going back and forth. I had to do some of that at Texas, and we had to do some of that at Auburn. And you know what, in hindsight, that's a really tough challenge for both those quarterbacks when you're doing that. And I think the better plan is to have one, and then you have your changeup, you have your plays, you have whatever packages that you might put in there for the other guy, and he can do some exciting things for you. And I think he can really help. But the reason why I think it becomes a challenge is I think everybody wants to have their starter. Everybody wants to have the guy, but somebody has to take it. And that's the reality of it. Someone has to take it. Someone has to separate, and someone has to take it and show that they are the guy, and then the other guy is the changeup. And I think the obvious question is, well, how do you do that if you're not getting all the reps? I think there's enough in practice. There's enough things that go on before you get into a game where guys should start to separate themselves and become the guy. And, just as a play caller, and I've done both of these. So I've been in the same situation, made mistakes with it. It's been really positive. But I think as a play caller too, and for a player, the rhythm is a big part of it as well, right? You kind of get into the flow of a game. It's just, it's a fight. It's a fight. And I think as you get into it, you start to see certain things when you get more plays that when you come back to something, you're like, I'm going to be ready for that when that safety's off the hash. I'm going to be ready for that when the linebacker's deeper than he should be, so it's a cover 2 look. And you got to be out there to get that done. And so I think the best plan is to have a guy and have a changeup if you want to, or just have a guy. And, the rotation can become challenging because of the rhythm of the game, because of, and I think just the rhythm of the player as well. So we'll see what happens. Unfortunately, as you kind of put packages in as a play caller, and I've done the same things, you might jump from one package to the next, and you keep doing that because the situation calls for it. Mm-hmm. And all of a sudden it's just, you get that feel of like we're just rotating guys back and forth and back and forth. And you just got to be aware of that. And I speak from experience of being in that position and knowing that, I think the better way is have your guy, have a changeup, and then, we got a tailback in the backfield that is special. we got a chance to get him the ball and do some things with him in the run game. And I think some other guys too have stepped up. That these guys, after a bye week and a self-scout, they're going to go back and evaluate that, and we're going to see a lot of those things, in my opinion, when we get into this next game.
You know, when you look at Taylor Green's game, a lot of his success happens outside the hashes, right? And it's because a lot of times he likes to leave the pocket, but as he continues to kind of grow and push himself as that pocket passer, I will say I do think we saw a little improvements in the Colorado State game. And he only got to throw the ball 8 times, but I think you saw him kind of hang or move up in the pocket. Whether it be your starting quarterback or your left tackle or your free safety, Bryan, when it comes to in-season development, the weeks are so crammed trying to get ready for that next opponent, right? How much time can you truly spend on, you know, honing the fundamentals that you probably want to take care of, you know, during the summer and fall camp? But if there's a lack, you know, during the season, how much time do you have to actually address that? And as a quarterback too, how much more time do you just have to put in than everybody else at times?
Sure. Well, here's the number one thing when it comes to the fundamentals. You never neglect the fundamentals, in my opinion. So your Sunday practices is kind of a correcting review, at least is how we did it. And then you had like your fundamental periods for 10 minutes. And so you're not getting away from that. You're going to have those, and especially the quarterback position, because of special teams, you have time in there to work on those things in practice because they're not involved on kickoff or kickoff return, whatever it is. And so for all those positions, never neglect the fundamentals. So it's got to be built into your practice plans on your Tuesday practices, Wednesday practices, Thursdays are different, Friday you're getting ready for the game. So I think you have to constantly be working on those. And then as a player, either before or after practice, if you didn't get some of the work that you felt like you needed, you got to stay. You got to spend some extra time. You just got to do some of that work necessary to keep honing your game. Because especially at quarterback, like you can play till you're 45, however old Tom Brady was, you'll never have it all figured out. And that's just that position. And I think it's all the positions, but especially at quarterback. And as far as the preparation, I always loved it up in Coach Hill's office. You know, we had our 4 requirements, which was toughness, preparation, decision-making, and accuracy. Those are the 4 things we had to have from our quarterbacks. And then he had this like 5 things on there just about the QB lifestyle. But the number one point on there was the lonely hours. And I think that's where anybody that wants to be great at something, you're just going to spend those hours alone studying, focused on the team you're playing. And I'll tell you a story. I'll go back to when Kellen was playing for us, and we were in the old facility, and you know, my office was back in where the team room was, and I would come in there and be there 6, 7 in the morning, whatever it was. Kellen would come by around 10, and he would sit in the wide receiver room for about 5.5 hours, all by himself. Every now and then he'd pop out and say something to me, give me an idea or ask a question. And I would walk in there as well. He'd be watching the next opponent. Then I'd walk in there. He'd be watching somebody else. We're not even playing because he just wanted to watch the quarterback that was playing, and it had nothing to do with our game, but he was studying that player. And when he left that film room on Mondays, we would meet that night about 7:30, 8 o'clock. And he had the plan in his head of how he's going to attack this defense. And he would look at the game plan I had up there, and we would go through it. He'd be like, I like it, I like it, I like it. And if he was kind of him-hawing, usually with Kellen, because he's so damn smart, I'd be like, that's out, because that's a bad idea. And he was ready to go for Tuesday. And you know what he did on Tuesday? The same, not 5 hours, but he studied again. And then on Wednesday, he studied again. And then on Thursday night, when we were done, and everybody's going home, you know what he was watching? Blitz. He was watching all their blitzes again, watching how we're going to pick it up in protection, what are going to be the issues when I get zero coverage, because that's the one that you're going to get splattered on if you don't know what to do. He had answers. And Brett was the same way. And Zabransky, I mean, if you want to be great at anything, you have got to spend the time. And as a quarterback, the lonely hours, I mean, that's really where you find the success in your game, is knowing pre-snap, I got what I wanted. This is the one time I can throw the ball backside because I know they're going to spin the coverage, and bang, you hit it, and everyone's like, that's a great play. You know what? No, that was a great decision from hours and hours and hours of preparation that he put in to make that one play and create that touchdown for us to have success.
We could talk to you for 5 hours, Coach. But I got two more, and we'll get you out of here. We appreciate your time. Jay left me all the questions people are waiting for me to ask you, so I'll just get to it, I guess. But what was the experience like for you at Auburn, and what did you learn, I guess, there that if you do decide to coach again, you think you might do anything differently or not?
Yeah, well, I think, one, taking that opportunity, I mean, it was a challenge. We knew going into that was going to be a challenge because of the league, where the program was at. And, the blueprint that we used, a lot of things that we had at Boise State from the success, we tried to carry over into that program as well. And, I think early on, there was just some challenges, coming off of COVID or through COVID. As we got into that program, there was obviously some challenges in the beginning. But the biggest takeaway, the players, a lot of great players, a lot of great kids, that doesn't change. And I felt that way when I was at Texas, when I left Boise State to go to Texas, to Arkansas State, to Boise State, to Auburn. The players, and you can talk about ability and argue there all you want, but they're 18 to 22, and you know what? They just want to be coached. They want to have an experience. They want to be successful. They want to be a part of something bigger than themselves. And it was no different there. So we had great kids, and they worked hard. I think the biggest challenges that any program faces is, one, how fast can you put together your program to where you're going to see some success. And we did the first year. I think we were 5-2 and maybe 13th in the country, and did some good things. Bo Nix was playing really well, got hurt in the Mississippi State game, and then things just went downhill. We weren't able to finish very strong at the end of the year, and we didn't really finish at all. So that hurt. And just like anything, right? The one thing that we all want to win. All right. We all want to put a product on the field where we can go out there and have success, a product that where guys are going to fight. And, the challenge when you're not winning is the same thing that we're talking about right now. You have to overcome a lot of those things, that losing syndrome. You got to overcome that so you can get back on track and find ways to win. But ultimately, really good coaches, really good league, recruiting, all those things, are just at a premium, and you got to do it at a high level at all times. And I think the biggest part is you got to have your goals, your vision, and your alignment has got to come together with everybody really in that program in order to be successful, because the challenge is so great when you go compete every Saturday that everybody's got to be all in with what you're doing. I don't think that's just at Auburn. I think that's everywhere. I think that's a challenge for everybody. And when I talk to coaches, it's not unique just to that situation. It's really everywhere. And I think the programs that do a really good job, there's alignment. I think everybody's working towards a common goal. And then, what you're trying to get done each and every day, like we said, has got to be the focus, and everybody's got to be all in with that. So moving forward and learning from that. And ultimately for me, I've worked with great people, been around a lot of great coaches, have really been on a path that has been positive. And then you hit failure, right? Bam. I mean, it's a failure at the end of the day. And ultimately that's on me. That's my responsibility as the head coach. And so as you look back on it, there's a lot of things that I wouldn't say that you're going to regret, but things that you would do better. And really that's what you have to look at. I thought this was good, but we could have done better. There were things in there that certainly should have been. And ultimately, you know what? When you're the leader, that falls on you. And, I think I've taken a lot away from that and have become better in a lot of areas, in my opinion, leadership wise, to where, we'll see what happens down the road. But I think you have to take that failure and you have to learn from it. And as a guy that has preached personal growth for a long time in my career, you know what? You have to grow from it. So ultimately, we'll see what happens down the road. But you know what? We sat in our family room when they offered me the job, and we said to ourselves, if we don't take it, we're going to regret it. And that's the one thing I'm most proud of, because I think too often we get so caught up at just being afraid to do things because it's so out of our comfort zone. It's so far out of, just what we're used to. And I spoke on this a few weeks back at an event, and the message was, so what, now what? Right? Like, if things didn't work out, and I don't mean it in a bad way, but all right, what'd you learn from it? So what? So what'd you learn from it? Now what? And not being afraid to just get out of your comfort zone and go do something very challenging, because you might fail. And we did. And I don't regret that. I just wish we would have done better. I wish I'd have done a better job. But what you learn from that, and I think just the whole concept of doing something hard and challenging, for my family and I, we've taken a lot away from that. And I think moving forward, that's what you learn is you can't be afraid. You have to learn from it and be better in the next opportunity, but you can't be afraid to go do things that are challenging and hard.
So final question. You kind of hit on it there, but what is next for you? And obviously you've enjoyed the family time, enjoyed watching your son. You're going to have a chance to do that when he goes on to play at Idaho State. But you're still a fairly young guy, Hars. Do you want to get back in the game here? Do you see yourself as even like an analyst role or head coach, OC? Do you want to coach again, or what's next for you?
I think what's next is breakfast, really. That's probably about what's next. So, yeah, BJ, look, I love football, and I love being around it. One of the things that I appreciate is just being inside that building, right? That the day-to-day, being in the building, being around the coaches, being around the players, because you got to think about that environment. Everybody in there is trying to be great. They don't always have great days, but ultimately, overall, everybody's trying to be great. And just when you get around fantastic people, good things happen. My whole career, in my opinion, is because of that. I've been around fantastic people. I've had people pour into me. I've been around phenomenal players, and my life and the opportunities I've gotten is because of that, period. And I feel so fortunate that I've been in that environment. So what that is moving forward, all those options you just said, I don't know. We'll see what shakes out. I really want to, continue on with this season with my son and focus on that. When that's over, as college football ends, as NFL starts to end, as things start to change and all that, we'll see what happens, what opportunities come up. But ultimately, for me, my goal is to be better whatever opportunity I go into for myself, to be better than I was, and to take this experience and apply it to whatever I do next. And you know what? Appreciate even more just the opportunity to be a part of something great. And I think that's one thing, being able to step back away and have this chance to kind of reframe and refocus has really made that obvious to me, is just, the appreciation for some of the things that you have, because, as a head coach, you're charging. And I know for those 10 years, it was just, your foot full on the gas, right? Full pedal all the way down. And you're trying to charge on every single thing you do. And, man, I was around a lot of great people. So I certainly appreciate that, and we'll see what happens moving forward. But, that's the future right now.
Coach, a lot of people are commenting that you were saying "we" a lot when talking about Boise State. You obviously are a proud alum, but I mean, whether it's months, years, whenever down the road, would you ever entertain the possibility of coming back to your alma mater as a coach?
Hey, I'm always going to say "we" about Boise State, man. It changed my life, and it started as a player. So that will always be "we." We just talked about the future. You know, I'll never say never to anything, not just Boise State, to anything. But that program changed my life. It gave me the confidence, the opportunities, and everything I just mentioned. And I wouldn't be here today and have the things that I do, the family I have, the opportunities I've been a part of, the stories, if it wasn't for that program. So absolutely, I'm going to say "we," and I'm pulling for them, and I want to see him have success. I want to see Coach Avalos have success. I want to see everybody in that program, those players, go on and, you know what, just be 1-0 this next game, and then try to figure it out again from there. And we will be watching and cheering them on and bleeding blue and orange, man, and bleeding blue, you know, every single day. So
hopefully Eagle High can go 1-0 tonight, Coach. That's the big game that matters.
Oh yeah, that's already been talked about. So yeah, that right now, I mean, we just wait until kickoff at 7:30, and you know what? You want to come out and watch a great game, be out there at Thunder Stadium at 7:30 and be on the Eagle sideline and come cheer those guys on. And two really good teams that have a chance to play in this district championship, and I'm excited for an awesome game tonight.
Who's a fiery competitor? I mean, I watched, you know, Davis kind of grow up just hanging out at practice. Who's a fiery competitor, Davis or Dad? Because Davis, man, he has a level of expectation the moment he steps between those white lines, and you can feel it. You can hear it.
Yeah, you know what? He's got it. He's passionate.
He is.
And that's, you know what? I love that about him. I love that he is passionate. And I'll just say this. I'm going to brag on him a little bit. He is a hard worker. You know, he doesn't shy away from work. He puts in the time. He does the hours. And he really, you know, when he decided to play quarterback, he went to work, and he has tried to put himself in a position to have success like he is right now. But he is an ultimate competitor on that field, and he wants to go out there and maximize those 3 hours he gets. But I would say this too: the guys that surround him have brought that out, you know, in him and each other too. You know, he's got some great players that he's playing with right now, and so we'll see what happens tonight. But yeah, they're going to have to compete now, every single one of them, and it's going to be a challenge, and we'll see how those guys do that.
Well,
tonight.
Good luck to him. Good luck to Eagle Mustangs. Really appreciate your time, Bryan. Thank you so much for agreeing to jump on. That the fans are loving it. We could have gone, as I said, another hour, but we appreciate it so much, and hopefully we can do this again down the road, and maybe after that state championship, we can get you back on.
Oh, that's the goal. You bet, guys. I appreciate it. Go Broncos.
Thanks, Bryan. Appreciate it. There he is, Bryan Harsin, Jay, and great stuff there from Coach Harsin, man. Appreciate him coming on.
Yeah. I'm like I said, I'm happy for him that he's got a chance to spend this time with Davis. It was cool to see Davis as a youngster. You know, it's funny. Right before the season began, I got like one of those Facebook memories of an old practice at Boise State, and one of the pictures was Davis. He had to have been 9. I mean, he was young, and he was throwing the football with Bryan at a Boise State practice, and I shot it over to Bryan because, you know, here we are, 9-10 years later, and now Davis is,
yeah,
you know, arguably the best quarterback in the state, and he's getting a Division I scholarship, and he's worked for it. I remember many years ago asking Bryan, I was like, Davis going to ever play quarterback, because he was a really good linebacker at one point. Bryan says, I don't know, we'll see. And man, he helped his boy out, and Davis went out and he earned it. So it's hey, we can pretend or we can be serious here. I am genuinely excited for this game tonight, BJ. Like, I really am. I think Meridian is a really, really tough team, and Eagles undefeated. So
yeah,
it's going to be excited to see what we see tonight on a little Friday night football. Following the news at 10 on KTVB.
Well, there you go. Yeah, we'll be watching KTVB tonight for all the highlights of that, and following your social media account as well, Jay. But yeah, we appreciate Bryan jumping on, and there were a lot more questions we could have got to, but didn't have time. We already kept them longer than I think we expected to. But appreciate all you guys for checking us out. I might as well throw in a shameless plug for my website if you guys are new and haven't checked us out yet. I'll give you a free gift card to Taco Bell, by the way, as well, if you sign up. $50 for a full year at BroncoNationNews.com. BNN 50 deals the promo code. Jump on one full year of coverage, interviews like that, shows like that, Boise State coverage, BNN 50 deal at BroncoNationNews.com, and we'll throw you a gift card. We got 26, Jay. I'm trying to get to 800 subscribers. I feel like I'm, some baseball player going for a milestone or something here. We need 26 subscribers to get to 800. Help us out. $50 for a full year. We'll throw you a Taco Bell gift card, and appreciate it. People loved it. People loved the comments. Or they noticed they noticed the Go Broncos at the end of the interview, and pretty cool that he's back in town now and still supporting his alma mater, and left the door open there. Who knows? We'll see what happens down the road, Jay. But we'll see you out there tonight, Jay. Eagle High, and we'll be watching KTVB, and appreciate you as always for the time, Jay.
Sounds good, buddy. Hey,
there he is.
Hit him straight today.
Yeah, there you go. We'll see. Appreciate it, man. There he is, Jay Tuss. Appreciate him for jumping on. And that'll do it for today's show. Again, BroncoNationNews.com, $50 for a 1-year subscription. We'd love to have you. Exclusive articles from Mike Prater, myself, some subscriber-only shows. We're churning out daily content. We got the soccer story. The soccer team just won 2-1 last night. Jim Thomas, the all-time winningest coach at Boise State soccer history. That story is up at BroncoNationNews.com. So $6.99 a month if you can't do the yearly option. But if you got $50, we'd love to have it. And we'll throw you either a $20 gift card to Taco Bell or a free round of golf at Timberstone if you're able to. So let us know. And we appreciate all you guys. And you just go to BroncoNationNews.com, click subscribe up in the corner. And then after you subscribe, let us know. Send me an email, and I'll send you your gift card of which one you want. So make sure you are subscribing on the YouTube channel as well. I think there's a red button down in the corner there. That's free. All these social media shows are free. And we appreciate you for subscribing to our YouTube channel as we continue to build that. So thanks to Jay. Thanks to all you guys. Go subscribe. And more importantly, thanks again to Bryan Harsin for about 45 minutes of his time joining us here on a Friday morning. So have a great rest of your day. We'll talk to you at some point. And then Monday morning, we'll have Mike Prater. We'll have the press conference from Andy Avalos on Monday. So enjoy the weekend. No Boise State game. The Broncos cannot lose this weekend. So enjoy your weekend and watch some football, and go subscribe to BroncoNationNews.com. We'll talk to you guys later. Have a good rest of your Friday and a good weekend.